I got pregnant around May, and the funny thing is, I was not gaining weight. I was not getting like a belt, like a bump, you know, like when you're pregnant, you start to see your belly getting bigger. But me, it only got bigger towards the end. So yeah, I was pregnant in May, and I only actually knew for sure that I was pregnant a few days after my birthday, that I found out for myself, for sure. Because beforehand, I thought, because, okay, I didn't know that when you bleed, it's normal to bleed when you're pregnant. Like, for some women, it's normal for them to bleed, but everything's fine. So me, when I was bleeding from June to August, I figured that's just my regular period, you know, because, I mean, I was bleeding, so I was bleeding for a few days during the month, so I didn't think it was a baby, you know. But for some reason, I did take a test in June. I took a test in June, like a pregnancy test, and it came back negative. So I'm like, I'm for sure good. Like, I'm not pregnant at all. But there was a possibility. But I wasn't pregnant because I went with the test and said, no, I'm not. And then when I saw my bleeding coming, I figured, okay, it's just my period, you know? So yeah, I got a bump around October when I found out that I'm actually pregnant, because I didn't get my period. I wasn't bleeding in October. So after my birthday, I said, you know what? I'm going to take another test just to see. And then when I took that test, it was positive. And also I was feeling like like a bump in my belly, and it was stiff, like it was hard. But yeah, after that I was like, okay, so I'm pregnant. But I'm thinking, because the bump was small, I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty early still. I'm only maybe a month or two pregnant. That's me assuming from feeling and taking a test. That wasn't the case. So November came, and then I think that's when I told my mom. My mom was just like, well, I didn't really tell her. It was more like I was like, going into it. Okay, here's the story. But I want to make that a different story. But anyways, that's when my mom knew, okay? We'll just put as that, and I'll do a separate story of how my mom found out. But anyways, November is when my mom knew. Towards the ending, going into December, that's when my mom knew, okay? Mind you, I knew since October, after my birthday. My birthday is October 21st. So I knew after that. Around November, the ending of November, going into December, my mom knew. Like, anyways. And then I'll tell you guys her reaction, all that, in a different video, because that's not the main focus right now. After that, she helped me because I couldn't find any doctor. I don't know, for some reason I was calling numbers to book appointments, but it wasn't working out. So my mom ended up helping me, and it all worked out. She went online and told me, oh, if you try this, maybe you could get it, or get a doctor who would want to check you being as far as you are, which at this time, no one knows how far I am. But my belly was getting big towards the end. So my mom figured, yeah, you're pretty far. This is all assumptions, but my mom, she had kids already, so she would know, right? Anyways, so when I went to my first appointment, my first prenatal, and I did my ultrasound, they told me I was already 30 something weeks. So I was probably already 30 or 31 weeks pregnant. And this whole time I did not know. Because also I didn't go as soon as I found out, because that whole time I was trying to get a doctor who wants to check me, but it wasn't working out. And then my mom came through though, so my mom helped me with that. And yeah, so when I went, they told me, you've been pregnant since May. I was like, huh? Because I took a pregnancy test in June and it came back negative. But then after my birthday came around, I didn't get my period. I didn't bleed that month. I was starting to, I felt like a bump. No movements, obviously, because it's too early. No movement for me. And I just felt like, okay, maybe I should take a test, because I did not get my period. So yeah, now she's my doctor. So whenever I need to go get my checkups, she's there. She's amazing, by the way. But anyways, yeah, so my ultrasound, I wasn't able to get the beginning to the end because I did not. First, when I found out in October, I was already June, July, August, September. I was already 5 months, but my stomach was not 5 months, because my stomach looked maybe 2 months, 3 months, but 2 months max. But I was 5 months when I found out. And when I found out, like I told you before, I was assuming that I was only a month or 2. Anyways, so the doctor appointments were going good, whatever. And then towards, I think when I was 39 weeks, I had an appointment to get my baby flipped, because they said that her head was up here when it's supposed to be down there, to say, okay, when you're 40 weeks, she's gonna come out. But that didn't go like that. So when I went to my appointment, I was just in the bed waiting, waiting for the nurses were so nice. But I was waiting for the doctor to come and, do an ultrasound, see where the baby is now, like what position she's in. And while I was waiting for the doctor, actually, I was feeling my daughter move. So I was like, I think she flipped on her own, because they want to force it, but I don't know. I think, because even when the doctor came in, when she was finally ready to come flip me, I told her too, I'm like, I was feeling a lot of movements in my stomach. So I think when the doctor came in, I told her, I was like, the baby was moving around in my belly. I think she was swimming again and whatever, because I had a lot of fluid, like more fluid than I needed. More fluid than what needed to be in my belly. I had a lot more. So she was just swimming in there. Anyways, so the doctor said, okay, she was explaining to me like what I might feel, what the risk is when the baby gets flipped, whatever. And then when she did a little ultrasound to see what's going on before she decides to flip the baby, she said, oh, wow, the baby, her head's down. She moved again. Now my job sucks, because I was expecting to do something, but can't even do it because she's good. And I was like, I was like, oh really? You know, I was just like, oh really? That's great. But I knew it. I knew she she knew what she was doing. I knew she flipped. Cause I felt her moving when I was laying in the bed waiting for the doctor. I knew she moved. So yeah, I was right. The ultrasound, when I looked at it myself, I see her head down, and I was like, okay, she changed position. I felt her, and the she was just like, okay, well, I can't do anything, so let's talk about the next step. And then she told me, which this was unexpected, but then again, the whole pregnancy was unexpected. So she told me, she said, okay, just so she doesn't flip again, because there's a chance that she does, and you're already 39 weeks, which a baby is supposed to be in your stomach for 40 weeks. It can even go to 41, but 40 weeks, whatever. She said, since you're gonna be 40 weeks soon, she told, which, mind you, I just turned 39 weeks. So I had a whole other week until 40. Anyways, she says, since you're already 39 weeks and she flipped back on her own, there's a chance that she'll flip again when it's time for you to go into labor and deliver the baby. So she told me, if that happens, then you might have to, well, you would have to get a C-section. And that was what everyone wanted to prevent, me having a C-section. So she told me, I think, she said, I think we should induce you and get this baby out so that she doesn't go swimming around again and then ends up being breached. So when that happened, because of situations, they tested me for COVID and it came back negative. So they brought me in another room. And that's where I got my IV, I got my blood taken. What else? They brought me like food, which wasn't having it. But anyways, it's hospital food. You can't expect like a 5-star meal from there. So I spent a little over 24 hours in there, or maybe 24 hours, a little bit over 24 hours. They connected the IV. I forgot what it's called, but anyways, when I got in the room, they're asking me questions, whatever. And then a nurse came and she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna check your cervix. And I was like, okay. And she said, open your legs, whatever. And when they did that, I did not realize it was gonna feel like that. Like, I didn't, obviously it's my first time like having a baby, but I didn't know what to expect, right? But when I felt that, they went up in there. They went. Anyways, they went in there. In there, I mean. They went in there. And I was like, oh! I was just, that feeling. And it's just, it doesn't suck because it's what has to be done. Every time they check my cervix, it was a different nurse, first of all, because they alternate. So when one nurse finishes when a nurse finishes their shift, another nurse comes in and introduces herself, tells me whatever, and then checks back once in a while. And then eventually they broke my water, which when they broke my water, it was very, very warm. It just felt like I was peeing uncontrollably. Like, I had no control. It was just coming out. And I was like, I do not like this, because first of all, I'm laying down, okay? and the bed just getting wet. And I obviously they put like, I forgot what it's called, but they put like cloths under me so that the wetness goes on that, and they just move it afterwards so the whole bed's not wet. But yeah, first of all, I do not like laying down. I didn't like the feeling of laying down and getting like my legs are wet. I didn't like that. I'm just laying down in wetness. Anyways, I don't know. I didn't like that feeling. But yeah, so they broke my water finally. That didn't hurt at all. They just put something in and broke it. Kept checking my temperature, making sure it's good. Kept coming and seeing how my contractions are going. At the beginning, I didn't feel anything. They kept saying, "Oh, you're having contractions. How are you feeling?" I'm like, I didn't feel nothing at all until towards the middle and the end, the contractions just get very, very hard. And yes, they do hurt. It's like you gotta breathe through it. If you don't breathe through it, it just, well, in my opinion, it's just gonna get worse. If you're panicking or you're just feeling like, oh, this is never gonna end, which that's what it makes you feel. It will make you feel like that, like it's never gonna end. Like I said, every woman is different. So you could not feel contractions at all, and then it's time to have the baby, you know, it's time to deliver. Or it could be so bad from the beginning, and then it's time to deliver, you know? But me, it was the middle and the end. The end was the worst, but the middle was like still bearable, but at the same time, like, that's all I could say. That's the only way I could explain it. Anyways, the ending was unbearable, but I still went through it. I was feeling a major pressure in my butt. It felt like I had to take the biggest poop. Whatever, that pressure was just, it felt like I was constipated because nothing was coming out, but that feeling was just pushing down on my butt. And I was so uncomfortable. Anywhere I sit, I was trying to bounce on a ball. It was not working out. I tried walking. It was not working out. One of the nurses brought me in the tub with warm water. I sat down in there. It was not working. I just told my mom was there to support me because of circumstances I'm not gonna get into. But I told my mom, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. After the hot water, sorry, after coming out of the tub with the hot water, I told my mom, I said, okay, I didn't want to do this, but I need to take that epidural because this is hurting me. This is uncomfortable. It's unbearable. I can't do it no more. That pressure was just something else. It was. So the nurse came back and I got dressed and, well, not dressed, but put back on my gown and whatever. And then I walked back to the room with my IV. I walked back to the room with my nurse and my mom, and I don't know, the pressure just got worse. And then I told my mom, I'm like, okay, I really have to poo right now. So I went to the bathroom, and my mom realized that I was sitting on the toilet for longer than what I was, because usually I would go to the bathroom, like during the whole process, I would go to the bathroom, just pee a little, and then I'll be out, wash my hands, come out. But this time I was sitting on the toilet for maybe 2 minutes, which I was not doing that before. Before I would just go, get up, wash your hands, get out. This time I went and I just couldn't get up. I was just, that pressure in my butt, I couldn't get up. So my mom came, she knocked on the door and she opened and she said, you better get up from that toilet, because we're not having no toilet baby here. We're not having no toilet baby. So you get up. So I got up. I only peed that time. So I got up, washed my hands, went out. And then when I sat on the bed, my mom was telling the nurse and stuff, oh, guys should check her cervix, because even when I was on the bed beforehand, blood just kept coming out, fluids kept coming out. My mom kept changing the I always call it a mat, but whatever. She kept changing the things that I was laying on, and then she kept changing me, and that's when my mom was like, you guys should check her cervix, because a lot of fluid, it's not stopping, come on, let's go. The nurse was like, no, it's her cervix doing what it needs to do, you know, to get the baby. And my mom was like, okay, but I'm telling you, you should check it. The nurse was like, okay, whatever. So when they checked me, I went from being stuck at 5 centimeters for the longest that it felt. And then when they checked me, after my mom said, y'all better check her, they said 9.5. And I was like, so, I'm not gonna get into the postpartum part. That's gonna be a whole different video. This for now is just how the pregnancy and labor delivery. They checked me and they're like, oh, you're 9.5. And I was like, huh? Because mind you, the last time they checked, I was 5 and I was stuck at 5, and I was just like, every time they told me you're 5 only, I was like, oh. But then when they said 9.5, I was like, okay. And I was pushing the whole time. So since I came out the bathtub, I kept like doing that, and they kept telling me don't push because your cervix will swell up, and then it's gonna be harder for you to push the baby out. And I was just like, whatever. Mind you, the whole time since I came out the tub, I was just like kind of pushing already. So when I finally lied down, and I told my mom, I can't, I have to push, I can't stop. My mom looked down and she said to the nurse, oh, I see her head. She's like, guys, I see her head. And then everyone just kind of froze, and then they were like, okay, getting everything ready, because after the tub, I said, that's it, I need the epidural, and they're setting me up for that. Not setting me up, but they were setting up to give me that. And when the doctor finally came, she was already dressed to go home, right? She said she was only coming so I could sign papers, and she would probably talk to me or something, I don't know. But yeah, when she came, she took off her jacket, and she didn't have time to go back in her uniform or whatever. She just came in to, instead of signing papers, she's delivering my baby. So that's what happened. I had to push. I didn't feel this little one come out. Did not feel her come out. I just felt that major pressure in my butt, and then next thing you know, she's in my arms, and I was like, oh, it's a baby. But anyways, yeah, so I didn't tear. I got a few scratches. They were looking to see if I needed stitches. I didn't, because like I said, I didn't tear. It didn't hurt for me when I delivered her, when I pushed her out. The only thing that was unbearable was that pressure in my butt. That felt like I had to take a fat poop. And it just felt like a fat poop stuck in my butt, you know? Like, I don't know. Anyways. And, also, what was I gonna say? Yeah, and the contractions towards the end, like the middle and the end. But besides that, everything went pretty well, to be honest. I believe she could have came out naturally in the next week, because I was 39 weeks when they induced me. But it's okay, everything happened for a reason, and I guess I got lucky because, like I said, it didn't hurt when I was pushing her out. It didn't hurt, like, even my pregnancy, it wasn't painful. Yes, I had back pain for a little bit towards the end when my stomach was huge now. Well, it wasn't even that big, but my stomach was bigger. Yes, I had back pain. Yes, my stomach, her moving in my stomach was a bit, at first it was uncomfortable, but then I got used to it. I'll put a video up here of her moving my stomach if I find one. And I'll even put a picture of my stomach when I was big. But yeah, so that was that. I pushed out my placenta afterwards and everything went perfect. She was 6'14", my little baby. But yeah, that was my pregnancy, my labor and delivery story. Sorry, she was just touching up my neck. So yeah, it's Shay Shay here. I'm back. I'll be more consistent. I know I said this in the last video, but yeah, it's Shay Shay here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, if you want to see any video ideas with me and this little one, let me know in the comments. And thank you once again. And hope you guys have a nice day or night wherever you guys are. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.